get straight into our first topic right now. And this is it. Do you think obese people ought to be charged to use ambulances? If you're surprised by the question, I'll explain why we're asking it. The number to call 0207 862 2222. The reason we're asking it is because ambulance services across the UK have been hit with an astronomical bill. It's £27.5 million. And that's just to cover the cost of transporting larger people who are too big to fit in a standard ambulance. So to carry a supersized patient, specialist ambulances, lifting equipment and private providers are often required at a very high cost to NHS trusts. Recent government research shows nearly 2/3 of adults are overweight or obese. So do you think they should cover the cost, the extra cost of transporting them in and out of hospital? I might start with you on this, James. What do you think?
No, they definitely shouldn't be charged because I think, the NHS is supposed to be there for everyone. Having said that, I think the money should maybe be spent on making these people not be obese. Maybe they should be jabbing themselves and losing weight rather than putting a strain on the NHS.
But how do you compel someone to lose weight? You can't make them.
No, you can't make them. But, why has it worked up till now, and now all of a sudden they're going to spend all this money? I mean, is it because they're uncomfortable in the ambulances? That's one thing that I heard, that it's not comfortable enough for them to travel. Well, that's just tough luck, isn't it?
Or sometimes they might need to be winched into the ambulance. Sometimes they might need specially reinforced beds to lie on in the ambulance, or chairs. I mean, it's a complicated procedure. I think we've all seen pictures of it in various different papers. Danielle, I don't know what you think about this.
It's a difficult one, really. I think I agree with James. Like, they definitely shouldn't have to pay any extra because it's the NHS. We all pay our taxes. So I just think, like James said, I would be encouraging, maybe using the 27 million or whatever it is to encourage them, teach them how to live better and be healthy, rather than obviously trying to spend the money on these ambulances, which, in fact, we haven't even got enough people to drive these ambulances around at the minute.
So, Rebecca, you might think by the time you get to the stage where you are so large or supersized that you might need a reinforced ambulance, an extra large ambulance, help getting out of your front door. Years might have gone by where you've been getting larger and larger and larger and larger, and really that at some point somebody ought to have stepped in, some healthcare professional, to try to help you long before you reach that stage.
Yes, so the current ambulances can take a weight limit of 200 kg and the reinforced ones can take a weight limit of 400 kg. So we're talking about a very small number of people who are unusually large. So we know that a lot of adults in this country are obese, but a size 16 woman is probably obese, and that's the national average dress size. Yeah. So we're not talking about the kind of obesity where we should all be a little bit more careful about what we eat. We're talking about the kind of obesity that only really comes from quite significant psychological difficulties. So we need to be talking about how people are getting to that stage and why, because it's at that point a mental health issue. But I would just point out that 27.5 million in NHS terms is like 10 quid to you and me. It's because of the way that procurement works in the NHS. Everything is so expensive to do that this is probably a very small number of ambulances for a very small number of people. And I think it comes back to NHS inefficiency in management, not in the people who work in it, but in the people who run it and how they buy things.
Why is it inefficient?
So in order to be able to get something, if the NHS needs something, they can't sort of find a local person who can provide it and then just buy it. It's got to go through a procurement process, which is sort of very bureaucratic. There's a huge amount of paperwork. And when you look at that cost, that 27.5 billion, that will include the hours spent researching the ambulance and speaking to the people who would make the ambulance. So it's a very, very broad cost. And so, the bill on the NHS for plastic gloves is astronomical because they can't just buy a load of gloves. You've got to be able to research them, speak to the right person, have them delivered to the right sort of
But everyone
entrance.
knows what happened during COVID when the protective personal equipment wasn't up to par and wasn't up to scratch. You can see why they've got to go through those hurdles. They can't just do a deal with somebody in the corner with a stall supplying, extra reinforced chairs and hope it's going to be okay. That's not going to be okay at all, is it? Let's go to Shirley, who's on the line in Portsmouth. Shirley, what do you think about this? Obviously, £27.5 million, depends on your perspective. Sounds like a lot of money to me. Sounds like money that could be better spent on something else. On the other hand, you can't just leave people in their homes unable to access hospital care, can you? So what do you think?
Well, I think there's so much prejudice against fat people in general. People really shouldn't have another excuse to have a go at a fat person. It's just unnecessary. And what about thin people? Do they say that they should walk because they don't need the ambulance to carry them because they're thin? And also, there's an so-called obesity crisis, and we can't win. You can't win if you're a fat person. You can't take the jab because there's problems with that. You can't have bariatric surgery because there's problems with that. But people that are fat know that they're fat, and they don't need another excuse for people to have a go at them.
Tell me, are you in that situation, Shirley, yourself?
I've had bariatric surgery, and I struggle with my weight even now, but I'm at a level where I'm fairly comfortable at.
Right.
But I do understand what it's like to be fat and to be judged. And also, a friend of mine, she's lost so much weight, and she's suffering from malnutrition, and she won't go back to eating properly because people judge her too much.
And is that on the fat jabs that she's lost all this weight?
No, she had bariatric surgery as well.
Bariatric surgery. Were you able to get your bariatric surgery on the NHS?
Yes.
And
was it a very...
What was it, a gastric
horrible
bypass or something like that?
It was a gastric bypass, and it was a terrible experience.
Oh, but it's done what it was supposed to do, which is keep you a lot smaller, has it? A lot lighter?
Oh, yes. Yes, it has.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. But I wouldn't pay for NHS surgery on...
and can I ask you something else?
Surgery.
If someone were to ask you, Shirley, how did you gain the weight, or how did you gain so much weight that in the end the NHS said, OK, we'll pay for your gastric bypass? What would you say? How did it happen? Was it slowly? Was it quickly? How did it happen?
It happened very many years ago when I looked at a friend, and she was big, and I looked at myself and I saw these angles on me. I thought, this can't be right. I must fill these angles up.
Oh, God.
And that's where my eating disorder started.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame for you. Thank you so much for calling. Lovely to talk to you. Let's go to Clive, who's on the line in Nottingham. Clive, do you think that's a bill that the obese person should pay, or do you think everybody else should pay?
I think it's what you class as obese, because I'm classed as obese, but I'm not fat. I just love the burn in the gym. I just love lifting weights, and I love lifting heavy weights.
Right.
And as a result of that, I put on a lot of muscle. So I'm classed as obese, but I'm not fat. So no, I don't think they should be charged.
But I suppose you would be able to fit in a normal ambulance. You'd be able to sit in a normal chair. You wouldn't need to be winched out of your front door. You wouldn't cost the rest of the country a lot of money, would you? You're just very muscular. It's not the same thing, is it?
Yeah, but I'm quite big.
How big are you? How much do you weigh?
I weigh about 22 stone.
Wow. And is that...
How tall are you?
Go on, James.
How
'cause you know
tall
about
are
this
you?
stuff.
5'11".
5'11", 22 stone. You must be very muscular then.
Yes, quite a bit, yes.
Yeah, and muscle weighs more than fat, and you burn...
More than fat.
And also muscle burns 7 times more calories than fat does. So it's... Yeah, you're just going to the gym. You obviously work out, so you're probably quite healthy, but you're not the demographic that we're actually talking about that need...
No, and I don't think anybody would imagine that you were, Clive. I don't think so. Thank you for calling. Let's go to Lynn in Surrey. Lynn, you're a clinical research scientist. So what have you found in your research that you want to tell us about?
I'm tired now, but I can tell you that when people are obese as adults, their hormones do kick in, and it's very difficult for them to lose weight. Even when they try hard, they might lose a pound or two, but that comes back on very quickly. So it's not really very nice for them at all. But a cause of obesity is when people give their children chocolates to eat in pushchairs when they're just tiny, 18 months old, and they're having a lot of chocolate to eat every day. They don't like vegetables, and then they don't like other food. They like sweet food, and that makes them put on weight, grow up as obese children and grow up as obese adults. And then their hormones kick in as soon as puberty, and that's it. It's very difficult for them to lose weight.
I mean, James has been on this show before, adorning the pink sofa, and pretty much said it's the parents' fault, didn't you?
Well, of
And
course it
Lynn,
is.
who's a research scientist, is pretty much saying the similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, also, what I don't understand is there are drugs out there now that people can use to help them lose weight. So why are these people that are so obese putting a massive strain on the NHS not told that they need to go on these drugs to help them lose weight?
But you can't force people to take any kind
No,
of
you
medication.
can't force them, but then they want to use the NHS. They want the NHS to spend the money to accommodate them, but that's not fair on the taxpayer, is it?
But if you remove the ability to have NHS care unless you take medication, then unfortunately that is forcing them. But also the complicated thing with the jabs is that if you are at the stage where you are so large that you need a special ambulance, that food is about emotion, not about food. And so if you start the jabs, very often people will stop taking them because they can't cope without their emotional crutch, or they turn to something else. And there's a bit of a transference problem with people finding that they feel the need to drink more or to gamble or to do other things to replace the hole that the food was filling.
Right.
So the jabs are an amazing, miraculous piece of medication, but they do not replace. You should really be having therapy as well
I'm
in
just going
tandem
to check with
them.
Danielle, mother of 5, unbelievable willowy figure. What people don't know by looking at you, including me, is how difficult or easy that is for you, whether it's genetic, you come from a slim family, or whether it's been a struggle. I can't tell looking at you. You look absolutely immaculate, but I can't tell.
But I do exercise, and I think for me personally, like, it does come from being a good mum. Like, I think you should teach your kids healthy eating. I cook fresh meals every single night and make sure that my kids are fed all the same. There's no complaining. They will get what they get and they make sure that they eat it. I think, no, I'm not one of them mums. I treat my kids. Everyone has a chocolate bar now and again, but make sure that you're teaching your kids, not just shoving a chicken Kiev in the fridge out of the freezer every night. And
It's about educating them,
education,
isn't it?
yeah.
But you need to know that yourself in order to do the education.
Yeah.
If
Yes,
you
of
yourself
course.
don't know that olive oil is very nutrient dense and that if you cover it on the top of something, you've added 300 calories.
Yeah.
You can't teach your children that if you don't know.
But
that.
surely we can teach people that people know that eating a pizza isn't as healthy as eating chicken and rice. It's like 2 plus 2, isn't it?
Unfortunately, there are people who think, well, pizza's vegetables. It's just, and particularly when pizza is marketed.
Do you really believe
yes,
that?
I do.
Gotta
I think
say that
I don't
if
believe
it's
that
sourdough
at all.
pizza,
I have been an infamous fat person for many years, and I don't think it's anything to do with not knowing that
you're a very educated person.
But I just don't think it's anything to do
Think
with
it's
not
hormonal
knowing.
and-
I don't know if it's hormonal either. I think it's very, very emotional. So I think that people look at a salad and they think, oh yeah, stomach definitely should eat that piece of grilled chicken, that grilled fish, that'd be good for me. I should definitely eat that. Then over there you see a pavlova in the freezer or a pizza or something. And which one do you want? Which one do you feel you deserve or you need or you crave or is calling your name, is emotionally kind of passionate? And unfortunately, it's not the salad. You know you should, you know you ought to, you just don't want to. You want the other thing. And sometimes you eat the salad and then a bit later that night you crawl out and, you know, there's somebody
want the
something in the
chocolate bar.
fridge calling your name and you have the chocolate bar. And it's not because you're hungry and it's not because you don't know. It's not because you're
I
ignorant.
think it's different for different people.
I'm not sure about that at all. I think
No.
it's you know, but there's
it's
something
choices,
deep and
yeah.
emotional that you know prompts you to do.
For
the
some
thing.
people it is
For
that.
And it
lots
takes
of people-
dedication and, you know, hard work.
and resources as well, and time and money.
Right,
and all of
let's
those
go to
things.
Liz in Bristol about this one. Liz, what do you think about this one?
Well, I don't think you should have to pay for an ambulance.
Yeah.
You and all the rest of you, like me, we've gone to work all our life. We've paid our national insurance money,
Yeah,
our national health money, right?
yeah.
You've got all these people come into this country, they've paid nothing, and they get the same service as us,
Uh-huh.
True.
right? So, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, so you think an
they're
obese
not going to
person
pay
is
for an
paid in?
ambulance.
Sure.
They're not paying for an ambulance because they ain't got the money. They're living off us. And we've all gone to work all our life and paid our national health money. So why should we pay for an ambulance when they are getting everything for nothing?
Well, I'm not
That's all I
exactly
gotta
sure
say.
who you're
Not
talking.
being-
Liz, who are you talking about? Who are these people that you think are getting everything for nothing? You're not talking about health tourists, are you? Are you talking about migrants or immigrants, or who are you talking about?
Yeah. You come in, they come in. Are they going to pay for an ambulance? No way.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a point.
We've always, all of you there and me, we've gone to work, we've paid our national insurance money.
Right,
So why
right.
should we pay for an ambulance? They're going to hospital, they're not paying nothing.
All right, Liz, thank you
pay
so
for
much.
all
Thank
our
you for rounding up the subject for us today. Thank you so much. Coming up later on.